Well, today is September 7th. And, today's my brother's birthday. Happy birthday, Chris. I got some issues going on today. See, it all started yesterday when I picked up my mail. And then last night I filled out this request for an advocate to deal with the New York State Thruway. And after doing much research last night, I discovered that the Thruway was actually paid for by federal funds. Then the state of New York took it upon themselves to leverage what was already paid for to maybe use it as collateral for some other types of loans that they took out in the form of agreements. And so with their bondholders, stakeholders, and stockholders, they had to come up with a way to pay those people on a regular basis without touching their reserved funds. So that's when they instituted the tolls. Now, the funny thing about the tolls is the law talks only about tolls associated with bridges. And the other tolls, although they have proposed multiple regulations and procedures around the taking of tolls from people, it was never brought forth to any type of hearing, nor was it ever approved from what I can see. So it sounds like the state of New York operates kind of like this. As long as they can slide it in and nobody's questioning the money they're taking all along, regardless if it's law, not law, proposed law, blah, 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 the non-response from people in general through commentary, kind of like what I'm doing, then they assume through the payment in itself is the acceptance of the proposed agreement that was never solidified in any type of laws. And so just by the passages of the vehicles willing to pay the tolls, they were able to, create things for themselves. And so, that was kind of wearing kind of heavily on me, going, how fucked up is this country really, that this shit is allowed to happen? And so I started my day off early again, and thought I'd pick up some dashes. Started at like 5 o'clock this morning, and for some reason, my technology was not working, so I had to futz around with that for hours on end, and finally I get a dash. My customer's name is Sean, my first dash. S-E-A-N, like my brother Sean. And I didn't have a problem delivering that order until I got a phone call from the New York State Thruway Advocacy Office. And her name was Stacy. And my brother was married to a girl named Stacy. And she stuck around long enough for my brother to inherit things from my mother, where she benefited, and then she booked. And that shit pisses me off too. And so my second order that came in before I almost ran out of gas, that was a customer by the name of Matthew. I can't stand the name Matt or Matthew or the name Stacy because it reflects people that I can't stand. And so I got into a little anger spur. I had to cool my jets, and while I was cooling my jets, I rerouted myself to fill up my car so I didn't run out of gas. And then I started thinking about September 7th, 2019. This is after they took all my personal belongings, and me and my dog Bees and his mother Bullet, we were sitting in the park, and I was trying to begin the grieving process about my mother. And lo and behold, I got snagged by the park police, the Livingston County sheriffs, from sitting in the park well within the time frame. And I was mental health arrested for that. And they tasered my dogs on September 6th, I think it was, late in the night. And so by the time they had forced me into the police car and got me on my way to the R wing, once again, to try to prove that I'm mental so that they can help me to assist me to commit suicide. And then when I got out of the R wing and was released, the doctor wanted to know why they keep doing this to me, because there's nothing wrong with me. And I'm like, that's a good question. And so she offered me a taxi ride. And the problem was, my car was all the way up in Letchworth State Park. So I had to hitchhike for a large portion of the way, and ended up getting in a vehicle with some, I don't know, sex-driven, consumed mind of a man. And luckily I made it to my vehicle, but oddly enough, something had changed to my vehicle. And that was on September 7th, on my brother's birthday, my brother Chris's birthday. And I later discovered that they had tasered my dogs while they were in the car that night, the night before. Now, reviewing all these things, the nut jobs really are the New York State employees that get to run around and cause detrimental harm to all kinds of people and get heavily paid with benefits and fringes on the side to do so. And there's nobody monitoring any of their shit. Because guess what? That's the job of a governor. And to date, I have never met a governor that is actually monitoring any of that shit so that it doesn't happen. I know of none ever produced on this planet that can do the governor's job. So, anyways, Chris, hopefully I haven't enlightened you on some knowledge that I've gained on the woodworking of the state of New York and their fraudulent activities monetarily, where they continue to garnish themselves. Oh, don't forget the lotteries. The lotteries. Oh, well, that was supposed to help pay for the thruway, so it would be toll-free, and it was also supposed to help pay for schools, so that there would be no school taxes associated with property taxes. That never happened either. Because they have yet to find a governor for the state of New York that knows how to manage the state of New York. And I'm quite sure it could be applied to all states across the United States, because they think they're little teeny kings and queens up on pedestals where people should adore them. No, it's actually a job, and you don't know how to do it. Happy birthday, Chris.